there are still some people who mistakenly believe that the cut which Derevyanchenko suffered in the Golovkin fight was caused by a clash of heads, when it absolutely, definitely was not. It was caused by a punch. And in this video, I'm going to direct you towards irrefutable proof of that. But the reason I think some people are still confused and they think that it was a clash of heads that caused the cut, and some people have even accused DAZN of being dishonest and trying to make it look like it was from a punch when it really wasn't. The reason I think there's confusion about that is because at the end of round 2, and Sky Sports have now put the fight on their YouTube channel, so any of you could go watch this. The reason I think there's confusion is because at the end of round 2, they showed a slow motion replay. And in this slow motion replay, which you can see here, Golovkin lands a big left hook. And that is not the punch which causes the cut. The cut occurs in this very exchange, but it occurs later in the exchange. But in this slow motion replay at the end of round 2, they don't show the full exchange. And so again, that's why people have started to say, well, DAZN are trying to spin a narrative here based on a lie, right? But later on in the fight, as I mentioned in my post-fight video and in my judges' scorecards video, later on in the fight, they show the same sequence, but they show the entire exchange. Okay, so this first one, as you can see here, look at the timestamp, 19 minutes 06. It's on the very same video on Sky Sports Boxing, 19 minutes 06. This is in between rounds 2 and 3. They show the exchange, but they don't show the punch which caused the cut. Later on, in this very same video, at the timestamp of 45 minutes 38, they show the same exchange, but they show the whole of it. And they do show the punch which causes the cut. It's clear as day. You can see a left hook come uppercut, catch Derevyanchenko in his eye later on in this exchange, and he immediately starts dabbing his eye, and then blood starts trickling down his face. So right here, go to 45 minutes and 38 seconds of the full fight, Gennady Golovkin versus Sergey Derevyanchenko, on Sky Sports Boxing YouTube channel, and you will see exactly how the cut was caused. It was definitely by a punch, it was not by a headbutt. I don't know what the Nevada State Athletic Commission were talking about or why they were trying to claim it was a cut, because it absolutely wasn't. Maybe they had Lou DiBella screaming at it. I don't know what it was, but it was definitely caused by a punch. You can see it clear as day in between round 9 and 10. So it's a 45 minutes, 38 seconds of this video. In between round 9 and 10, they showed a full exchange and it was caused by a punch. And that's that. So yeah, hopefully that puts all the confusion to bed. And as far as the fan reaction to this Golovkin-Derevyanchenko fight, as with most fights involving high-profile fighters, very few people are able to score objectively. Very few people. Most people have these, ingrained biases within them that prevent them from scoring fights objectively. So I've got a whole heap of people saying, you're crazy, Derevyanchenko definitely won this fight, you're trying to convince me I didn't see what I actually saw. No, you saw what you wanted to see. You didn't see what was actually there. You saw what you wanted to see. The reality is this was a real close, excuse me, this was a real close fight. This wasn't some whitewash by, Derevyanchenko where he just bossed the whole. It's absolute nonsense. It was a real close fight. But you wanted to see Golovkin get bashed up every round, so that's what your eyes saw. You wanted to see a fairly one-sided, easy-to-score fight, so that's what your eyes saw. But that's not what happened. Yeah? Some people just hate Golovkin, and so they want to score the fight against him because they don't like him, and they've never liked him for years. All right? And on the flip side of that, I've seen some people in the comments saying, yeah, good video about the scoring of the Golovkin fight, but you've been unfair to Golovkin in the past. Again, biased people. These are people who are biased in favor of Golovkin. And so times in the past, for example, like the Canelo fights, when I said the draw in the first fight was perfectly reasonable, they're having a go at me for saying, oh, that was never a draw. That was a blatant Golovkin. Again, you're Golovkin fanboys. You can't look at it objectively. I'm looking at it objectively, man. And I've been very consistent, not just with Golovkin fights, but with all fights across the board. In terms of, the way I approach a close fight. I very, very, very rarely will call a fight a robbery here on this channel. And anybody who's been subscribed to me for any length of time will know this. Very rarely do I call a fight a robbery. Yeah, I put robbery in my video titles with question marks after it before any P-brain starts on that. Question marks meaning, do you think this is a robbery? Yeah, but very rarely will you hear me state in a video that a decision was a robbery. Very, very rare. I'm not one of these people who jumps up, robbery every single week. No, that's not me. The reality is, a close fight like this is not a robbery. I mean, you even had Lou DiBella, Derevyanchenko's promoter, saying it wasn't a robbery. So, I don't know where people are going with that. It was what it was. I scored the fight objectively. There are going to be people who prefer certain things Derevyanchenko did in certain rounds and therefore score the fight or score certain rounds differently. That's fair enough. But again, their scorecards are not definitive. And they need to understand that and realize that. And my scorecard is also not definitive. That's why we have 3 judges, because each judge is going to like something slightly different in a close round. So they could score it one way or the other, to one fighter or the other. So anyway, let me bring this video to an end. It's happening, I'm out.